Okay, so we've talked about how to run programs. We've talked about how to keep a rein on our programs using process control. And we've even talked about how to navigate through the file system. But let's now talk about the layout of the Linux file system. For those of you coming from Windows, you might have noticed at this point that Windows is very hard drive or partition centric. That is, you need to know the exact device location on which the folder or file or program that you're interested in is located on. You know that C:\program files is very different from E:\program files, and if you have programs installed in either directories, you need to know which one of those two it is that you can execute your program from. Likewise, if you have a documents directory, you need to know that it's on the F drive instead of the C drive. Linux and Unix is very hard drive and partition agnostic. That is, it's not important to know on which piece of hardware the data or the program resides. It's only important to know where it is in the file system. And the file system transparently encompasses the hard drive space. So you don't need to know that it's on the third partition of your second hard drive in your computer. It's all transparent. You just need to know its location within the Linux file system. So the most base directory, or the directory under which all other files and directories are contained, is known appropriately as the root directory. And it's represented as a slash, a single slash. And so let's access it. We'll change into the root directory by issuing cd/. We can list the contents of this directory. Now the directories that are under your root directory may appear somewhat different than the ones that I have here, but there are usually some commonalities. And let's take a look at some common directories that would be of most interest to us as users of the system. So the bin directory contains some executables, a lot of low-level simple programs that we can run as users. The sbin directory also contains executables, but most of these are not intended to be run directly by the user. Many of them have to do with system maintenance and things that happen behind the scenes. The other location and the location where you'll find most of your executables is the /user/bin directory. So let's take a look at the user directory here. The user directory contains quite a few other directories, and you'll find here the bin directory. The /user/bin directory is going to contain most of the big programs. For instance, I ran Firefox here. That's located in /user/bin. The Python interpreter executable is found under /user/bin. So many of the big programs you'll find there. It's also worthy noting /user/local. So let's go into /user/local. If we list the contents, we know that many of them appear to be similar to those of the /user directory. /user/local is meant to be a local container for custom installs and custom builds of software that aren't specific to your distribution. For instance, if I compile my own version of, say, the Apache web server, I would install it in user local instead of in user. So this just keeps the system tidy and also prevents software conflicts for software that comes with your your Linux distribution and software that you've compiled yourself. So if you compile any software that's meant to be used across your system by all users, you would place it here in user local. There's also folders here contained in user and likewise in user local called share. Share contains as you can expect, shared files. But of most interest would be the doc files, the documentation files. So if we go to user shared doc and list the contents, we can find that there's a tremendous amount of documentation that's available on our system. And nearly every program that's installed on your system will have documentation available to you in user shared doc. For instance, if we go into the Python 2.4 directory, there's all the HTML help files for Python are available there. So, for instance, if I run Firefox on the index page here, we can see that I have all the Python documentation available right on my hard disk here. So user shared doc is a tremendous wealth of information, and if you ever have questions about the specifics of running a program or setting it up, you can usually find excellent documentation contained under user/share doc and then the name of the program. So let's go back up to the root directory. We've talked about the directories that contain our executables, and we've talked about the user directory and user local. I think there are only a few other directories here that would be of interest to us. One is the temp directory. This is a directory that's available for writing temporary files. It's open to any users on the system, and anyone's welcome to deposit files to it. They'll be able to be seen by everyone. And so this is an excellent place to place temporary files, but be aware that this directory is cleared systematically, and that's set up as a system process. So, and particularly if you log off or even shut down the computer, any files that you place in the temp directory will be lost. So use it only as temporary space. Also of interest might be the var directory. This contains a lot of all the log files of the computer. It also contains sort of server-specific directories. It contains a mail spool, contains your print spool, and it contains a lot of server files. The final directory under root that I'd like to talk about is the home directory. And as you can guess, the home directory contains the directories, contains each user's home directory. So here we can see my home directory is under here, and I have two other users on this system whose home directories are there. This is pretty much the bulk of the Linux file system. Most of your work that you will be doing will be in your home directory. So as such, it's good to know a shortcut to get to your individual home directory. Your particular home directory can be represented as simply a tilde. So if I cd tilde, it will take me to my home directory. So we can do pwd to confirm that I'm in /home/Chris now.